welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live right now or post a new video. In a moment, we're discussing how you can show an asexual you love them without sex. And even if you've got a partner who isn't asexual, how you can show them love without having sex. So, first of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories book, real life asexual stories. Grab a copy from the link down below in the description if you haven't already got your copy. So, yes, ways you can show an asexual person or someone else that you're in a partnership with that you love them without sex. So, I've gone back on Facebook dating. It is really difficult being on there because obviously I'm a hyper romantic. I get attracted to guys. I can get attached very easily. And it's very difficult when you meet people and you might think a guy might be suitable and then he turns out not to be. So it's kind of hard. But I do like the fact I meet different guys on there, get to talk to different guys. So one of the guys I recently talked to, who seems an actual nice person, he isn't suitable romantically for me, but he in a conversation he didn't seem to understand how to show love, like demonstrate love in a relationship. And so I thought this was a really good topic to talk about that would help on here, you know, how to show an asexual you love without sex, basically. So there are a number of ways you can show someone you love them without sex. And show can actually mean tell or demonstrate. Show can encompass touch, body language, hand gesture, facial expressions, something you do for someone. So it can be like lots of different things, right? So if we just go through some ways in which you can show someone you love them without sex. For example, you could tell them you love them, right? So you might argue, is telling actually showing? Well, if you tell someone you love them, it's still a way of expressing your love. Expression is a form of showing someone. So obviously you can tell someone, I love you. I think that's very, very good. That's like an auditory thing as well. If it's verbal, if it's written down, it's a visual thing. So you can encompass audio, visual stuff in what you do to tell someone you love them. Obviously, like sharing secrets, deep secrets with someone you really trust, that's a form of showing someone you love someone. Because when you trust someone and you're in a relationship, you automatically are able to have a much better, more healthier relationship. A good, loving relationship is based on deep trust. So if that person is sharing parts of their life with you, secrets with you, showing you things that maybe they don't show other people, that is one way of showing their love for you, because it's like being intimate with parts of their personality or being or life that other people don't get to see or maybe don't get to see as much of, right? Acts of service, you know, acts of service are one way you can show love. So acts of service are when you do something for someone. You know, so maybe your partner's having some trouble fixing their bathroom tap and you go around to fix their bathroom tap for them. Maybe your partner is having trouble with changing a light bulb. You go and change a light bulb for them. Maybe your partner's having a problem with the shopping. It's too heavy for them to carry, or they're having to carry it in separate lots. You go and do the shopping for them. That's acts of service, showing you love them, showing you care about them, right? By doing something for them. Also, spending quality time with that person is a way you show you love them. If you're spending quality time with someone, time is the most precious gift you can give someone and the most valuable asset. And so therefore, if you're spending time with that person, you're actually like in effect saying, I love you because I'm spending time with you. I'm choosing out of all the minutes, of all the hours, of all the days to spend time specifically with you. And that's a huge deal, you know, very, very, very big deal. Words of affirmation, right? You can say things of affirmation, not just I love you, but praise them, you know, say how wonderful they are, how great they are at doing something, you know. So it can be words about them, about their personality traits, about their character, or about their life, you know. So words of affirmation are very, very, very important. You can give them gifts. You can present a gift to them to show and express your love for them as a gift. None of these have got anything to do with sex. See, none of them, right? Sex and love are two completely different things that a lot of people mix up, but do not have to go together and do not need to be mixed up, right? So you have to understand that there's lots of ways you can express loving someone physically through cuddling them, by kissing their hand, by stroking their shoulders, by stroking their hair, by kissing their lips. So if you want, obviously we've done a lot of talking about non-physical ways of showing you can love someone. And this is now the physical ways, right? Without having sex, you could just stroke the person's hair, stroke them on the shoulder, kiss their hand, hold their hand. You could put your arms around their back when you cuddle them to make them feel nice and safe and secure. Whatever physical stuff they like, you could do as a form of love. Sometimes just I like my hair being touched, and stroked. I think that's really beautiful when a guy just strokes my hair, makes me feel really like at peace and feel loved and wanted and needed. Just a stroke of my hair, and and to say I look beautiful. Again, words of affirmation. But also I like praise on my career. So for me, career is very important, as are hobbies and interests. So if I was in a relationship with a guy, I would be praising him on his work, on his hobbies and interests that he likes when I would be supporting him. So supporting someone is a very loving thing to do. Again, that's expressing your love for them because you're supporting them. You're saying, you've got this. I believe in you. You can do this. I encourage you in this. I'm here for you. Emotional support as well is another way of showing you love someone. When someone's having a crisis, not just in their good moments, and you're there for them when they're having not such a good time and maybe they're in tears or they're really upset and in pain, and you just reach out, you're just there for them. And understanding that person, wow, how many people do you know in this life who really, as part of feeling loved, wanted and needed, just want to be understood, not judged, but just understood, and even just have someone there as a listening ear sometimes saying, I'm here for you, I care about you, I want you, thank you for the thumbs up, lots of love to you, I want you to succeed, I want you to feel good. So it's very important that we take time out of our day to make sure the other person's all right as well. So I've already talked about spending quality time with someone that you love. Anytime you text someone or message them or voice note them or call them, all this is different times, but it all shows you love them. Showing you love someone is one of the ways in which to do that is communicate with them regularly. Make sure they're a part of your life even though they're not physically there. So by through text messaging or video calls or voice calls, when you do stuff like this and you go out of your way for someone, these are kind of like, you could say they're kind of like acts of service as well as being supportive and quality time, because you're kind of providing a service as in someone to listen to them and someone to hear them and someone to be there for them. Also very important, how you can show someone you love someone is through active listening. So what's the difference between passive listening and active listening? Passive listening is when you're kind of like the person's there talking to you and you're busy and you're fumbling around like this and you're looking for pens and you're kind of looking around the room and you're hearing them, but you're not really hearing them, right? Active listening is when you're sat up, you're looking at the person, maybe in their eyes or their face on camera, and you're there with them in that moment, and they're expressing either enthusiasm or sadness or desperation or confusion, and you're just there and you're actively listening to them. You're not going to your phone to check your other text messages from other people. You're not like there trying to have a conversation with another person while you've got this person in front of you. And if you're going out to a date, for example, out for a meal, dating is very important. That's one way you can show someone you love them, by actually meeting up in person, going to the cinema or out for a meal, whatever you want to do on your date, and actually setting those dates as quality time. So there's a difference between just spending time with someone and quality time. Quality time is when you carve out time in your schedule for this person. Like personally, I'm not into so spontaneous things. I like my time to be planned with someone. In a relationship, I like to be planning in advance video calls with that person, but I still want them to text me during their day so I know how it is, how their life is. I want them to include me in their days. I want them to include me in their life, so that when they're far apart from me, I still feel like I'm a huge part of their life. It's like you're in the relationship with them on a day-to-day basis, even though you're not physically there with them. Because you have to remember, a lot of asexuals, particularly in the beginning, will start off as longer distance relationships. You're unlikely to find someone in your immediate area who's the right compatible asexual person for you. You're probably going to have to move or have someone come to move near you. So you're going to start off by having time apart. And those time aparts means you've got to have even more highly communicative, more spending quality time. You know, in a relationship, if I'm not with the guy in person, I would be wanting him to like video chat with me a minimum of twice, probably 3 times a week, you know, so that I've got some time in between to message my friends and see my friends, but also to work on my projects, work on my books, and do things that light me up and fill my cup up, you know. But messaging the other date, every other day to me is quite good, you know, if you're in a relationship. I think you need the quality time. But some people feel that, you know, you need to be on the phone or video call, even if it's for 10 minutes every day, just to check in with that person. And sometimes that can be more healthy for the people involved. It depends what is healthy for the people involved. And that's another thing. When you show you love someone, you need to be finding out in the beginning the expectations from each other of that relationship. Like, how would that relationship work on a day-to-day basis for both people? What's the maximum amount of communication you'd like? What's the minimum amount of communication you would like? How would you like that day to look, right? If you're not living together, if you're apart, like, when would you like that person to message you? How often would you expect that? When do you want to actually communicate verbally or in person via video chat, for example? All this needs to be worked out, because some people in a relationship need a lot more communication than others. And if you've got one person who really likes a lot of communication, the other person doesn't like that much, the person who likes a lot of communication is not going to feel loved if they've got a person who doesn't want to speak to them that much and communicate with them, because their love language is part of their love language is communication. My love language, my primary love language is, so what basically makes me feel loved the most is quality time. That's my top love language. So if I've got a guy who doesn't want to book it time specifically out to speak to me each week, make time for messaging me and communicating with me, then that doesn't feel good to me. So you have to understand that what's healthy for one person or people in a certain relationship might not be healthy for a person or another. And you have to work out together, because, you know, someone who doesn't want much communication, they might feel stifled by that, and they might feel, rather than loved, they might feel like too claustrophobic by that, you know. So you've got to understand that different people love in different ways, and you've got to talk about these things at the beginning of what makes that person feel loved, what makes you feel loved, and what makes that person feel loved. Some people like communication all the time throughout the day, other people don't. So you have to work out what works for you as a couple. You know, I mean, some people want kids. I don't want kids, but some people find that having kids together, again, is an expression of ultimate love. I'm not into all that. It's not my thing, but some asexuals do still want children. Some want it by natural means, some don't. Right? So, you know, to them, children is a symbol of love, you know, and that's what they like, right? Other people, they like getting a dog together or a cat together or a pet together, right? That's a symbol of love. It's kind of like joining you together. Other people like to get married as a sign of love. I don't personally want marriage, but that is something that other people like. Some people like to live together as a sign of ultimate love. I don't want to live with someone. I prefer to live separately. For me, if a guy would move to live near me, but not with me, that would make me feel great, because I would feel like my guy is close by to me. I would feel really loved and supported, but yet we can have our own separate lives and do our own things. And plus, I just feel better living on my own. I've lived on my own for a very long time, and it's much more comfortable for me. So, you know, I need my personal space, even though I'm super romantic. It's kind of hard to get a balance. And and that's why it's so important to have communication, and being highly communicative with the person you love shows them you love them, because it shows them that you're important to them, and vice versa, because you're taking, again, it's kind of going back to the quality time. Communication is part of that. It's no good if you're spending time with each other but it's like one word answers, right? And dealing with the tough stuff, the difficult questions. Not everything in your relationship is going to go smoothly. Not everything is going to be rose tinted glasses like I always like to look through, right? There's going to be difficult times where you've got to talk about hard hitting topics, right? And it's the way you maneuver those conversations that show you love someone, by listening to the person, understand their point of view, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, and try to come to some sort of compromise where you both feel like you're getting something out of that situation and out of the relationship, where you're both kind of winning to a certain extent, and you're just both really kind of like coming together to work things out. When you come together to work things out, you feel loved because you're included. Including someone in your life and multiple aspects of your life makes them feel loved. Like when you introduce someone to your family and friends, that shows they're loved. When you put pictures of yourself and that person together on social media, they're happy to be seen in public with you. Again, that's an expression of love. All these are different expressions of showing someone you love them. The words you say to someone, not just I love you, but like asking someone how their day is going, how they feel, how a situation makes them feel. It means that you are emotionally connecting to that person. When you emotionally connect to someone, you show them that you love them, because you're opening yourself up to be more vulnerable with that person, and you're kind of sharing more of who you are. When you share more of who you are, that person's automatically going to be more emotionally attracted to you, and you're like like metaphorically naked, if you like. So showing your love for someone is actually breaking through your fears and actually saying, look, I really love you so much. I'm being kind of like standing in your own strength, but also in maybe some fear. We all have fears and anxieties and worries about relationships. Lots of people do, right? But you have to be brave enough to basically go through them and say, hey, I still want this relationship. I want it to work. Let's work together. And so one way of expressing love is by working as a team, by having a team ethic, right? So when you're in a relationship, no longer are you singleton, you are part of a two partner, unless it's a polyamorous relationship. If it's monogamous, just two people, right? You're in a partnership with just one other person, but it's a partnership and teamwork, right? This means you need to put as much time, energy, and effort into them as they do to you. And you should both be putting a lot into that relationship. That is one way you show that you love someone, that you're willing to go through the tough times with them, not just, oh, this is perfect, everything's great now. The hard-hitting times, when someone loses their job, when someone gets sick, when someone might have a disability, when someone's mental health goes downhill, when someone is stressed and worried. All these type of things is when when you're there for someone in their darkest times as well as in the most magnificent times. That is when you show you truly love them, right? You must know throughout COVID situation, even with your friends, there's certain people you thought were friends, right? And they just disappeared. They got so much going on in their own life, they don't have time for you anymore. They don't really care that much, right? Some of them, right? Obviously, some of them are going through really deep stuff like hospitalization and stuff. I'm not talking about that. But there's some people, that could have messaged you or made some effort and they didn't bother at all with you. And you might be shocked, right? That's not showing that they love you, right? That's showing you the opposite. The people that love you are the people that have stayed with you through thick and thin, through good times and bad. They'll have made adjustments. You'll have made adjustments for them, right? This is like kind of what compromise is about, not necessarily changing yourself, but making adjustments. Like you might go to a different restaurant that you wouldn't usually go to, or go to the cinema to see a movie that's not your ideal movie, or go out on an outing that's not your ideal thing. But you're showing you love someone because you're doing something for them, because you want to spend time with them regardless of the activity, as long as it isn't harming you or damaging you anyway. So, for example, I can show love to friends. Like, for example, at the Asexual meetup that I had, I went to a museum, history museum. I don't have interest in history, Really, I knew one thing out of the whole museum I got right. And to two people who love history and love museums, they must have thought I was off my trilly tromp. As in, she knows nothing. She really does know nothing, right? And I was like a duck, really out of water, flapping around, didn't know what I was doing. But I enjoyed the company of those two people, and I wanted to go for them. And I had such a beautiful time, an amazing time with them, because they're both beautiful people. One is my best asexual friend. Hello to you. And, and I just really loved being there with them, and it didn't really matter that I wasn't into history, apart from obviously I looked quite foolish that I didn't know much of this stuff at all, like about war or anything, I just don't get involved in that. To me, I'm all about present and futuristic stuff. So I like science museums, not history museums usually, but I still can see stuff and observe it and take some of it in. But yes, it's not really my thing, but I loved spending time with those people. That's me kind of showing friendship love or love to someone. Like one of the people I was new to me, I didn't even know them. It's kind of me showing love to people, but not in a non-romantic way. Yeah, I'm kind of showing I love asexuals, kind of showing I care about them, right? So thanks for the thumbs up, lots of love to you. So you can show someone you love them, whether it's in a relationship or out of a relationship. My friends show me they love me. They don't always say I love you, Sandra, but it's by the gestures. Like one of my best friends, he comes over and looks after me when I've broken my ankle, right, for months. And he still comes like nearly once a week now, or whenever he can, right? And that shows me that he loves me a lot, because his mental health isn't the best, admittedly, by him. And so it's been very difficult, but I've had to have someone really looking after me while I've had a broken ankle. I can get out to do a bit of shopping now. He's still doing all the really heavy, bulky carrying waters and stuff like that. My back's got problems now though, because I'm having to do more for myself, but I don't want him to be in a position where he thinks he has to do it all the time and it's not good for his own mental health. And I know it's been very difficult for him, but he's done that for me because he loves me in that way. That's him showing me true love in friendship, deep friendship terms, right? So I really appreciate that, right? So doing that for me, I know that I must mean the world to him as a friend for him to do that, because it's really out of the comfort zone. He's not great with social situations at all, not even going to supermarkets. It really got him out of this comfort zone. And I really appreciate that. I felt really loved by him and still do. So and my best friend Sam, they're not into saying they love their friends, but they always show me they love me in the sense of the way they speak to me, which is really nicely. They always care about what's happening in my life, how I'm feeling with my own mental health and things that are going on. And we're Skyping tonight. And so they usually Skype me once a week for a few hours. And I love quality time. So I really love that time. So that's their friendship love they're showing to me, right? They're not into talking about friendship love. That's not a thing they usually do. But I just feel that. I feel like they're showing me that without them saying it's to do with love, because they don't like that, because love to them is just romantic love. And I used to only think about romantic love. But since I've developed on my asexual journey, I can feel love from my friends. Like my best female friend I hadn't seen in months, and she doesn't talk to me that much, but she made a huge effort to specifically come and see me in my city and spend some time with me, quality time. We went out to a restaurant together, a Chinese restaurant, and she was giving me some hugs as well, because I really needed them. I hadn't seen her for months, and so like not cuddles. I don't cuddle my friends, hugs. And it just felt so good. So, that's her way of expressing she loves me as a friend. And again, she got me an ornamental thing for my birthday. It said, it's my, what does it say? It says there something like, about being a sister, or as my friend. We're not blood sisters, but she's always said we're like sisters. So again, the way someone talks to you and expresses their feelings, again, is very loving often. So these are a lot of the ways that you can love an asexual or show love to someone without having sex at all. And I haven't even talked much about physical stuff, you've noticed. It's been a lot about other stuff. So anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. As always, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video live stream. It's been a lot of love for you always. I absolutely love my community here. I cannot tell you how much I love you and adore you. When I was off this channel for a bit live due to YouTube, I should decide to temporarily get rid of my channel, and then not being able to live stream on it, then it was really difficult for me, because I feel like you're my asexual family. I'm really close to you and I just love being here. I feel so good and right to me. So I really missed you and love the people on this community. And I cannot thank you enough for being part of my life. Until next time, embrace your inner ace, and I'll see you on the next video live stream. Jake, the sexy saint. Bye bye. Thank you for the heart. Lots of love, Jake. Bye. Thanks for being here, everyone.